My name is Emily Carter. I'm 31 years old. And this is how I took revenge on the man who destroyed my life, my family, and everything I ever loved. A dim, quiet living room. Dust floats in the sunlight, breaking through half-drawn curtains. Emily stands in the middle, holding a house key loosely in her hand. She's alone, emotionless at first glance, but her eyes say otherwise. I haven't stepped inside this house in 7 years. Today, it's being sold. The place where I grew up, it doesn't belong to me anymore. She walks slowly into the hallway. Wood creaks under her boots. The walls are still marked with tiny pencil lines. Her height over the years. Her hand brushes over them. It's strange, isn't it? How silence can scream. Every corner of this house holds a version of me. And every version still asks the same question. How did everything go so wrong, so fast? A sudden memory floods in. She's 26. The house is chaotic. The front door is flung open. Police cars flash red and blue outside. I remember that night too well. My father collapsed. A heart attack. The paramedics said it was the stress, the betrayal, the lawsuits we didn't see coming. Her mother screaming in the kitchen, pill bottles spilled on the table, Emily shaking, trying to hold her together. My mother had a breakdown. I watched her shatter right in front of me. I couldn't even cry. I was numb. Now cut to a different room. The bedroom. A jewelry box lies untouched. Emily opens it. Inside, an engagement ring. Cold. Hollow. She stares at it. And him. Thomas. My fiancé. My future. My betrayer. He was supposed to protect me. But he stood silently while my father's company was ripped apart. While my family name was dragged through courtrooms. While I begged him to tell me what the hell was going on. Thomas, emotionless, sitting across from her. She's crying. Documents on the table with his signature on them. He knew everything. The lies. The deals behind closed doors. He sold us out. And I didn't just lose people that night. I lost myself. Emily walks into the backyard. It's overgrown. Forgotten. But now, I'm done hiding. I'm done being the girl who watched everything crumble. Because I didn't just survive. I rebuilt. I changed. She pulls out a folded paper from her pocket. A court document. Her name is bold on the top. Below it, Thomas's. And this is the part where I tell you how I took it all back. Piece by piece. Move by move. Pain for pain. I didn't just want justice. I wanted him to feel what I felt. The silence, the collapse, the emptiness. This isn't a story about forgiveness. It's a story about consequences. I was born and raised in Oregon. Not in some fairy tale town, but in a quiet place where the roads curled through pine trees and everybody knew your name. My family wasn't rich, but we were safe, steady, whole. Old photos on a wall, faded snapshots of a smiling family, a little girl in pigtails helping her father hammer wood, a birthday cake with 5 candles, a proud graduation photo. My dad, Richard Carter, was the kind of man you'd trust with your house keys. He built furniture, the good kind, with his hands and heart. He taught me how to measure twice, cut once, and keep your word no matter what. He built more than cabinets. He built our life. Linda Carter, in her 50s, kind-eyed, reading a book on the porch. A blackboard still hangs in her study. Mom was a retired school teacher. She was soft-spoken, but fierce when she needed to be. She believed in logic, love, and discipline, in that order. She taught me how to balance checkbooks, stand up for myself, and never ignore the fine print. Emily, age 18, entering college. Flash scenes of her studying late into the night, working part-time, crunching numbers. I studied finance, not because I loved it, but because I wanted to help Dad grow his business. I saw how hard he worked, how he refused shortcuts. I thought maybe, with my degree and his skills, we could build something bigger, something lasting. Age 25, Emily at a cafe. Daniel walks in, clean cut, confident, that kind of magnetic presence that makes everyone turn. They laugh, sip coffee, lean close. Then came Daniel Whitmore. God, he was charming, ambitious, the kind of man who said all the right things. He made me feel seen, like he believed in my vision more than anyone else ever had. Family dinners. Daniel helping Richard in the workshop, smiling with Linda, toasting wine glasses, pitching ideas on a whiteboard, signing early paperwork. He didn't just win me over, he won my family. Daniel said he could help us modernize, expand, bring in investors, build a website, scale the operation. I was young, hopeful, maybe a little naive. Emily persuading her dad in the workshop. He's hesitant but softens. A handshake between Richard and Daniel. Papers exchanged. It took some convincing, but Dad finally said yes. We brought Daniel in as a partner. I thought I was building our future. In truth, I was handing him the keys to destroy it. The living room. An old family photo now boxed up. Emily's fingers brush over a frame. Her face tightens. But for a while, everything felt right. Orders were coming in. We got a small warehouse. I ran the books. Daniel handled the investor meetings. Dad stuck to the craftsmanship. It worked. We felt like a team. A backyard barbecue. Laughter. Josh, in his early 20s, clean, hopeful, hugging his mom, fireflies blinking in the background. My younger brother, Josh, had just gotten out of rehab. We were all so proud of him. He was finally smiling again. Mom stopped sleeping with the phone under her pillow. For once, everything felt whole. Emily sits on the stairs, alone, holding a photo of her and Daniel. She stares at it, emotionless, then sets it down. I remember thinking, maybe this is it. Maybe this is how normal feels. It wasn't a mansion, it wasn't millions, but it was ours. We had Sunday dinners, movie nights, hope, until the cracks began to show. A slow zoom on a printed email, unread messages, unexplained investor names, minor bookkeeping gaps, Richard frowning at something off in the books. It started small. A missing invoice, a confused supplier, Dad asking questions, Daniel brushed off. I thought it was just growing pains, but the walls were shaking, and I didn't see it, not then. Cut back to the kitchen. Emily opens a drawer. Inside, a single envelope. She pulls it out. It's labeled, Final Agreement, Whitmore Holdings. Her hand trembles. By the time I figured out the truth, it was too late. Daniel wasn't building a future with us. He was building a future on us, on my father's back, on my name. This is what betrayal feels like. Not a scream, not a slap, but a slow, calculated dismantling. Smiling while they cut the floor out from beneath you. A heartbeat echoes. Then, Emily's voice. Calm, but could he thought we'd never recover. That we'd fade quietly into debt, grief and failure. And maybe we would have. But I don't break that easily. I break open, and I rebuild harder. Emily opens her laptop. On the screen, financial spreadsheets, names, tracking accounts, a plan forming. That was the beginning of the end, for him, and the beginning of something else for me. Revenge isn't rage, it's discipline, patience, precision, and I had nothing left to lose. Emily's apartment. A small lamp glows as she works on her laptop, surrounded by spreadsheets. Her phone buzzes. Unknown number. She hesitates, then answers. The call came on a Thursday, 10:43 p.m. A banker's voice, cold, professional, confused. Miss Carter, we're calling to inform you that Richard Carter's business account has been frozen due to irregularities and transfer authorization flags. We'll need him to verify ownership. I didn't hear the rest. Just that one word, frozen. And suddenly, nothing felt safe anymore. Interior Emily's car. Night. Headlights racing past. Emily's hands grip the wheel, white-knuckled. Her eyes dart between traffic lights and the phone clutched to her ear. I called Dad. No answer. Called again. Straight to voicemail. He never turned his phone off. Not once. Family home. Night. Emily throws open the door. Silence. Then, a groan from the living room. Emily. Dad! She rushes in. Richard is collapsed on the floor, gasping, one hand on his chest, eyes wide with pain. Emily. No, no, no. Stay with me. I'm calling 911. Just breathe, Dad, please. I'd never seen him afraid before. But that night, he looked like a child. Helpless. Like the world had turned on him and he couldn't understand why. Hospital entrance. Night. A blur of sirens. Emily pacing. A doctor approaches. One look says everything. Doctor, I'm sorry. We did everything we could. And just like that, he was gone. My father, my hero, the man who built his world with bare hands, undone by a signature and a snake in a suit. Family living room. Next morning. Emily is at the kitchen table, stacks of files and documents spread around her. Her mother sits in a daze, staring out the window. Josh stands in the corner, pacing. Within 48 hours, the truth came out like a bomb in slow motion. Emily holding up a contract, her father's signature at the bottom. Daniel had done it all behind our backs. Quiet, surgical. The new investors, fake. The expansion, a cover. The ownership papers, rewritten. Disguised under legal jargon. Shell company, hidden transfers. My dad had unknowingly signed away his life's work to the man I was going to marry. Daniel shaking Richard's hand, smiling. You can trust me, sir. Bank emails, legal notices, Emily ripping open letters with shaking hands. And then Daniel vanished. No calls, no warnings, just a black hole where our future used to be. Family home, bathroom. Josh stares at himself in the mirror, then opens the medicine cabinet. Josh relapsed within a week. The guilt destroyed him. He thought he should have seen it. He thought he failed us again. Family home, kitchen. Linda is screaming at shadows, crying over cold coffee. Emily holds her, trying to keep her from falling apart. My mother mentally collapsed. She thought it was her fault, that she didn't raise me smarter, that she should have stopped me from trusting him. Bank. Emily stands before a teller. Her card is declined. A manager apologizes, her eyes well with tears, but she nods. And me? I was left with debt, with nothing. The accounts were drained, the assets gone. Our name ruined. I walked into courtrooms alone, filed reports, begged police to look deeper. But to them, it was just a business dispute, not a crime, not a tragedy. Living room, night. Emily sits alone. Darkness all around. One lamp lights her face as she opens her laptop. Her hands tremble at first, then steady. He didn't just steal from us, he erased us. And no one cared, not the courts, not the cops, not the men in their perfect suits and cold smiles. She clicks open a blank document, types the name, Whitmore Holdings. Then, Daniel Whitmore. A list begins to form. So I made a choice, a quiet one. No screaming, no threats, just a promise. Emily looks directly into the screen, cold, calculated. The fire in her eyes is quiet but burning. I would become the kind of woman men like Daniel fear. Relentless, smart, strategic, and invisible. Until it was too late. The document's title changes. The Blueprint. He taught me how to destroy a family. Now I was going to teach him how it feels to lose everything, piece by piece. Storage unit, night. Fluorescent lights hum as Emily closes a metal door behind her. She opens a laptop on a folding table surrounded by boxes, coffee-stained law books, and printed spreadsheets. The day after his betrayal, I buried my father. The day after that, I buried myself. Black screen, time skips, months passing, calendar pages flipping. Emily's phone buzzes. She deletes every social media account. I went dark. No Instagram, no LinkedIn, no more Emily Carter. Bathroom. Emily cuts her hair short, dyes it. A mirror reflects a colder, sharper woman. Her expression is blank. People say revenge makes you reckless. That's wrong. Grief makes you reckless. Revenge makes you focused. Emily at night, hunched over books, corporate fraud, asset protection, offshore shell networks. She's teaching herself how the system works and how it breaks. I learned corporate law faster than I learned to trust again, and I never learned that second one. Office cubicle, day. Emily in glasses and plain clothes, sorting financial records. Her badge reads Lena Shaw, a new name. I took a job at a private investigations firm, entry level. No one looked twice at the new girl in data retrieval. But I had access, and I listened. I learned how the rich hide their rot. Server room, late night. Emily alone, sorting flag transactions. She zooms in on a suspicious file. Her eyes lock on a name. D. Whitmore Holdings, linked to a new LLC in California. There you are, you bastard. LA skyline, glass buildings, sunlight, wealth, a different world. He'd rebranded, called it a startup incubator. Fancy code for a money laundering front. He used our story, my father's business pitch, to lure fresh investors, including one girl in particular, Rachel Vale, daughter of venture capital royalty, Cafe Day. Rachel, 30s, sharp, wealthy, is having coffee. A woman sits nearby, elegant, composed. It's Emily, now Eleanor Marlowe. Blonde wig, business cards, a startup consultant facade. Rachel was smart, but not suspicious. Not yet. I played the long game. Coffee meetings, chance run-ins, shared investor contacts. I became someone she trusted, someone who understood Daniel's brilliance. Gala event, night. Emily walks beside Rachel through a high-end crowd. Her eyes spot Daniel across the room, clean-cut, laughing, confident. The first time I saw him again, my hands went cold. He looked the same, smelled the same, lied the same, and I smiled. Daniel signing fake documents, Richard Carter collapsing, Josh screaming at a wall, Linda crying in a hospital bed. I wanted to kill him, burn every file, blow it wide open, But rage is loud, revenge is quiet. So I waited. Emily's car, night. She's asleep in the back seat, curled under a coat. A stack of legal applications beside her. Offshore access requests. Account freezing orders. I was broke. I lived in my car for 2 months while I applied for access licenses to trace shell company transfers. Some nights, I cried. Most nights, I studied. And every night, I remembered what he took. Hospital room. Linda. Frail. Looking up at Emily. Linda. Weakly. Was it my fault? Did I raise you too trusting? Emily. Tears forming. No, Mom. You raised me to believe in people. He's the one who broke that. Josh in a hospital bed. Wrists bandaged. Emily watching from a hallway window, her reflection barely holding together. Josh tried to end his life 6 months after the collapse. The guilt consumed him. The silence around us did too. No one came, no news, no justice, just shame. Storage unit. Emily pins a photo of Daniel and Rachel together. Strings connect names, transfers, banks. She highlights one. Banco Federal, Belize. That was the break I needed. A single dirty wire. Daniel funneled investor funds into an offshore account registered under one of his fake firms, Slate River Solutions. It took me 3 months, 3 fake identities, and 1 forged signature to get the paperwork. Gala bathroom, night. Emily in front of a mirror, fixing her lipstick, focused, controlled. The closer I got, the more tempted I was to blow it early. But I wasn't after money. I wanted something real, something he didn't even know he cared about, until it was gone. Emily with Rachel at lunch. Rachel, laughing. Daniel's been so focused lately. It's sweet, but also a little off. Sometimes I feel like I barely know him. Maybe that's a good thing. People change under pressure. Server room, night. Emily logs in. A document loads. Full ownership breakdown of Daniel's assets. She smirks, clicks. Submit suspicious activity report. I didn't want a headline. I wanted him to feel confusion first, then panic, then loss. The kind of loss that echoes, like a hollow house after a funeral. Daniel at a party. Phone rings. He checks an email. Freezes. Bank alert. Accounts under investigation. He swallows hard. Tries to smile. Can't. He'd feel it in pieces. Like I did. 1 paper cut at a time. But I wasn't done yet. Not even close. Storage unit. Emily tapes up the final document on the wall. Her face is pale, tired, and full of purpose. This wasn't about justice anymore. That ship had sailed. This was personal, and I was just getting started. Co-working space, night. Daniel walks through polished glass doors. Nervous energy. He adjusts his collar, checks his phone. A message blinks. Room 314, 9 p.m., no names. They say, revenge is a dish best served cold. I disagree. Revenge is a dish served silently, while they're still chewing the lies they built their empire on. Storage unit, days earlier. Emily seals an envelope. Inside, anonymous reports, investor contact lists, screenshots of falsified transfers, a USB. Step 1, give the wolves a reason to bite. I leaked everything, anonymously. Every cooked book entry, every offshore trail, every dollar Daniel stole from his partner's luxury office. Day. Daniel meets with 2 stiff-looking investors. Tension. One slams a report on the table. Daniel looks confused, defensive. This came from inside. Someone with access. You want to tell us what Slate River Solutions really is? Daniel. That's not what it looks like. I can explain. You can always explain. until the silence gets louder than your lies. Emily's storage unit, night. Emily creates a new identity, a sleek, confident corporate buyer named Eleanor Cross. Fake LinkedIn, email, voice masking software. She sends Daniel an offer, a clean exit for a dirty business. Email on screen. You're not safe, but you can still walk away. We know your numbers. Meet me, no names. Room 314. Greed makes arrogant men stupid. He thought it was a lifeline, but I was never there to save him. I was there to bury him. Hotel room 314, night. Daniel enters, dim lighting. A briefcase sits on the table. Across from him, a woman in a dark blazer, hair swept up, glasses on. She doesn't look up immediately. He didn't recognize me, not at first. That hurt more than I expected. But it also confirmed something. He never really saw me, just what I could do for him. Daniel. You're Eleanor? Emily, smiling faintly. Let's not use names. Keeps things cleaner. He nods, sits. She slides the briefcase toward him. Papers inside, an exit plan. At the bottom, a clause forfeiting control of all current assets. Daniel, scanning it. You've got access to everything? Emily. Everything that matters. Her voice is calm, controlled. She watches him sign, a quiet moment. Then she leans forward. Emily, you always did sign before reading, didn't you? Daniel pauses, confused. What? She removes the glasses, lets her hair fall. His face goes pale, eyes wide. Daniel. Emily? Emily, softly, coldly. Hi, Daniel. He stands suddenly, knocks over a chair. Daniel. What the hell is this? Emily, placing a folder on the table. That's your life. What's left of it? He opens it. Legal seizure forms, his name on freezing orders, a list of investors who've filed charges, a summary of whistleblower reports, dates, signatures. His accounts? Frozen. His investors? Suing. Rachel? Gone. I didn't need to destroy him. I just needed him to see the truth and know it came from me. Daniel stares at the folder, then at her, disbelief turning to fury. Daniel, you think this ends me? I'll rebuild. I'll find a way. Emily, you won't, because this time you're not invisible. You're in the spotlight, and all your skeletons, I sent them front row seats. He lunges forward, but stops when she picks up her phone and holds up the screen. It's been recording. Emily, you just confessed to insider trading and asset fraud, on tape, in a hotel you rented under your name. Oh, and the room's wired. Enjoy the playback. She stands, calm, walks to the door, turns back one last time. Emily, I didn't scream, I didn't cry. I just stood there, watching the man who ruined everything look at me like I was a ghost, like I'd come back from the dead. News footage. Headline: Tech fraudster under fire. Anonymous whistleblower exposes startup empire. Daniel's face on screen, pixelated mugshot. He's arrested days later, unrelated wire fraud charges. They never connected it to me. I was just a rumor, a shadow in the background, a whisper of justice no one could trace. Small apartment, night. Emily sits at a window, sipping coffee. A box beside her labeled Dad's Tools. She opens it. Inside, his old measuring tape and a wooden carving, unfinished. I didn't get my dad back. I didn't fix my mom's mind. I didn't erase the damage, but I reclaimed something we lost, our name, our story, and I made sure Daniel Whitmore would never tell his version again. She looks out the window, a quiet, content silence. Revenge doesn't give you peace, it gives you power. And sometimes, that's enough. Woodshop, day. Sunlight pours in through large windows. Josh stands at a workbench, sanding a custom table. His hands are steady now. A new tattoo peeks from under his sleeve. A small tree. Emily stands nearby, handing him tools, smiling quietly. Some people think revenge ends when the villain falls. But it doesn't. It ends when you choose what to rebuild from the wreckage. Emily in court, signing documents. Her father's company logo appears beside her name. Flash to a ribbon-cutting ceremony. But Emily stands off to the side. A banner reads, Carter Institute for Woodcraft and Trade. Smiling students walk in, carrying toolkits. I reclaimed partial ownership of Dad's company 6 months after Daniel's arrest. I didn't keep it. I gave it away to a vocational school in my father's name. Because legacy isn't what you build for profit. It's what you build for others. Cottage, lakeside, day. Linda, now more at peace, sits on a porch swing reading a book. The lake sparkles nearby. Birds chirp. Emily brings her tea. Mom's memory still stumbles some days, but the screaming stopped. She moved to a quiet place by the lake. And for the first time in years, she laughs again. Emily's apartment, night. Minimalist but warm. Emily sits at her desk. A candle burns beside her. She opens a leather journal, pulls out a letter. Unsigned, folded neatly. She begins reading aloud. Dear Daniel, you'll never read this. And honestly, I hope you don't. This isn't for you. This is for me. You taught me how much damage a lie can do. How trust, once broken, doesn't shatter like glass. It rots like wood from the inside out. But here's the part you never saw coming. I took that pain and turned it into power. Every sleepless night, every time I cried in my car, every second I wanted to quit, I used it. You thought you ended my story, but all you did was write the prologue to a better one. Emily, teaching a free financial literacy workshop to local small business owners. Josh, shaking hands with his first customer. Linda, painting near the lake. Life moving forward, not perfect, but honest. I never went back to being the old Emily, and I don't want to. That girl was soft in all the wrong places. She trusted too easily. She believed people like you couldn't exist. Storage unit, empty now, just a bare desk. Emily turns off the light for the last time, locking the door behind her. I didn't get everything back, not my father, not the years we lost. But I got enough. Enough to sleep again. Enough to stop shaking when I hear your name. Enough to look in the mirror and know I'm not broken anymore. Cafe, day. Emily sits alone, reading a book. The sun hits her face. A stranger across the room glances her way. She smiles softly, then returns to her page. She's not hiding anymore. Revenge wasn't the end of my story. It was just the fork in the road. And now, I don't need justice to feel whole. I've got something better. Peace, purpose, and the quiet kind of power no one can steal. The building is simple but alive. Fresh paint, clean windows, laughter spilling out from the open doors. Inside, students of all ages are working with wood, learning slowly, patiently. The sign reads, Carter Institute for Woodcraft and Trade. Beneath it, in memory of Richard Carter. Emily stands across the street, calm, steady. She watches the place her father once built with his bare hands, now reborn into something bigger than either of them ever imagined. A little boy walks by, hand in hand with his dad. He clutches a hand-carved wooden car. Wobbly wheels, rough edges, but made with love. Little boy, look what Daddy made me. His dad smiles proudly. The boy holds it up to the sky. Emily's eyes soften. She smiles, not wide, but real. A small moment of peace. This was never about making things how they were. That's impossible. Too much was lost. Too much was taken. But that doesn't mean you stay broken. The camera slowly pushes in on her face. Older now, wiser, but stronger too. Her eyes glisten, not with tears, but with calm. Emily, softly, to herself. Revenge doesn't fix everything, but sometimes it gives you just enough justice to start over. She exhales slowly, watching the boy disappear into the crowd of students. A breeze picks up. The sound of hammers and laughter floats on the air. And starting over, that's the real win. She turns and walks away. Not toward the past, but forward, toward whatever comes next. Fade out as the sky turns golden behind her. The end of one story is the beginning of something truer.